Hey guys, Thogden here, and welcome back to the Championship content. I think this season has been one of the most mental years. Every club having a story. So we're going to go back a few months and see what we predicted and compare it to now.
Do you really want to do that, Theo?
No, but I think it's time we face our issues. The comments are going to roast us. Everyone's going to have a laugh.
Theo, if you've got an issue, I've got a tissue. We always start with a like target, and because we're going to embarrass ourselves, 11,500, please.
If we can get 5-figure likes on a Championship video, we will do more Championship content. Put the statement out there. Now we'll start the video.
Oi, you! Follow us, please. He's watching without actually
subscribe.
following.
He's an old man. He doesn't understand the
follow,
terminology on
subscribe,
YouTube.
you know, whatever.
Can we just start this?
Right, let's start with Barnsley and get it out of the way. You said 12th, I said 8th. They were 24th. They were rock bottom, Theo. That whole Moneyball thing went horribly wrong. 6 wins all season, 3 managers. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
About 12 months ago, they were in a playoff spot. So we had a right to predict them just outside the playoffs. We were saying, oh, sorry, Barnsley fans, you won't make the playoffs. But they ended bottom. How do you summarise that?
I don't know what else to say. I know you get a great pint at Barnsley, though.
Since last June, they're now onto their 4th manager. Barnsley fans, let me know in the comments, where did it all go wrong? But see you in Bolton next season.
Birmingham City, you said 14th, I said 15th. They were 20th, and Lee Bowyer, the manager, cannot be very happy with that.
No, not at all.
I remember when Birmingham were a huge team, way back in the day.
Well, they survived, but it wasn't a season to look back on. Tahith Chong came in and had some real eye-catching performances, but then had a long-term injury. Mid-September, they were as high as 4th place. The fact they finished 20th must have shown that something really bad went wrong.
Absolutely, and the worst thing for Blues fans is that Aston Villa are riding high in the Premier League.
On March 15th, when they lost 2-0 to Borough, Lee Bowyer went into the press and basically blamed the players and said a lot is going to change in the summer. And they need that if they want to continue to survive in this league.
Blackburn Rovers of Lancashire, you said 18th, I said 18th, they were 8th. And there's one player, Theo, who really impressed.
Well, for the first 6 months, 20 goals by the turn of the year. Blackburn were looking like they were going to get automatic promotion. Mowbray was doing an incredible job. And then Brereton Diaz, the Chilean, of course, got injured. And they could only score 6 in 15 games. And then Mowbray left. We were going to be very wrong. Like we predicted 18th, both of us. They were going to get automatics. Finishing 8th is still well overachieving what we expected. So well done, Blackburn. But they'll be kicking themselves they didn't make playoffs.
But can they keep Ben Brereton? Because Leeds and Southampton are sniffing around.
Listen, if they put in a good bid, the way he's playing for his club and country, I think he deserves a move.
Another Lancashire team, Blackpool, you said 20th, I said 24th, and rock bottom. They were 16th.
Hey!
I'm sorry, Tangerines.
You didn't believe.
I got it wrong.
You said relegation, I said survival. You didn't believe in Gary Medine, the goal machine, who nearly scored double figures.
And I tell you what, though, they came up, Theo, and the bookies thought they'd be bottom.
Well, Neil Critchley did an amazing job to keep them up, and hopefully they'd kick on to next year. But he's left, and he's gone to be Villa's 2nd manager. Would you rather be a first manager at Blackpool, could kick up and show the world what you could do as a first-team manager, or go as a second-hand man at Villa?
I think it's nice to be around the Premier League, isn't it, Theo?
Yeah, but can you show for yourself? Maybe he would have got a first-team coach move in the future if he did incredible things at Blackpool.
I think in football, Theo, it's a brutal profession. I think you've got to take the opportunities when you get them.
Only 4 points off a top-half finish. It's incredible what he's done, and Steven Gerrard clearly understood that, so best of luck to him and Blackpool next season.
AFC Bournemouth, Theo, you said 5th, I said 2nd, and I've got one right. They were 2nd. And I'll tell you what, Bournemouth, best defence in the league. Only lost 8 games all season.
So what is it, Dad? Do you just understand Scott Parker? Do you think he's a great manager? Is that why you got it right?
Well, I believe in Dominic Solanke, Theo. 29 goals and 7 assists. That is brilliant. You remember him in his Liverpool days.
Dad,
he played for England.
Don't forget the other boys. Jayden Anthony, he went from non-league football to smashing it in the Championship and helping them get to the Premier League. Philip Billing, 10 goals, 10 assists in the Championship.
Yeah.
It's everyone around him that helped him score the goals. Do you think Solanke is finally going to have a good year in the Prem?
Do you know what? I'm delighted for him, and he's a shout for FPL, isn't he?
Not really, because every time he comes to the Prem, he needs to prove himself a little bit to me before I sign him. He will probably be quite cheap, though. That half-time team talk from Scott Parker to get the lads going. And when form was starting to be a little bit shaky, they got the most important win when it needed to be, and they went up automatically. Would they have gone up through the playoffs? I'm unsure. Forest had crazy momentum, and they were the ones to beat them. So they'll see you in the Prem. Either way, well done, Bournemouth.
And now over to cider country, Bristol City. You said 19th, I said 19th. They were 17th. Now, Theo, they scored a lot of goals, but the trouble is they conceded 77 times.
We expected them to survive, and they did, and that was the real issue, how many goals they conceded. But actually, when you look at it, given the financial issues plaguing that football club and the amount of academy graduates breaking through to the first team, it's becoming a worry whether Bristol City are actually going to start surviving or kicking on. I don't know what to say for next season.
Well, I tell you what, they've got to hang on to Andreas Weimann, the Austrian international. 22 goals through here and 10 assists.
Another player that's important is Semenyo, the Ghanaian, smashing it for country, by the way, and 20 contributions last season in the Championship. If it wasn't for that, they may have gone down. So it's all about keeping them for another year and just making it the most, because it's a really nice stadium. I love Ashton Gate. I played there in a charity match once, and it's something special.
And now Cardiff City of South Wales. You said 4th, I said 5th. We thought they were going to be in the playoffs. They were 18th, Theo. They lost 23 games. How can you do that to us?
Dad, you look at the facts, promotion contenders from 2 of the last 3 seasons. You'd expect they'd have finished in an automatic or around playoffs. How did they fall away? They need Gareth Bale ASAP.
I swear, this league is the most impossible league in the world to predict.
The way Mick McCarthy turned their season around the year before, you thought he may do it again. But after 8 losses in a row, he left in October. And the man to take his place is the Millwall legend, Steve Morrison. And how did he do, Thogden?
Not too well, Theo. Let's move on. I can't be talking about these failures anymore.
They need Bale, simple as.
Coventry City. Now, Theo, you said 17th, I said 16th, and they were a very respectable 12th, weren't they, Theo? And it was looking better early in the season, wasn't it?
Incredible. They went up to 3rd at one stage, I think, in early October when they pumped Fulham 4-1.
Yes.
Do you remember how many goals? I think Victor Gyökeres, I don't know how to pronounce his name, doesn't matter, but 9 goals in 11 games.
Yeah.
If he just kept it up throughout the season, it would have been Mitro-esque stats.
Well done, Coventry, because things were really bad there, weren't they?
You know what? Mark Robin's Sky Blues are heading in the right direction. They exceeded expectations again, and I'm massively fond of Gustavo Hamer. He's a player who's improving every season, 9 assists this year, and he's part of a midfield 3, and he just pings them left, right, and centre. Wherever you got. If you watch commentary, you just understand how good he is. So next year, you never know where the Sky Blues might end up.
Derby County now. Theo, you said they'd be 24th. I said 23rd. They were 23rd. Now, we've got to point out, you might know this, they were deducted 21 points. 12 for the administration, 9 for financial breaches. Without that, they're 17th. So on the pitch, Wayne Rooney and the lads did quite a good job.
And actually, when you look at their squad and compare it to the rest of the Championship, they had no right with a 21-point deduction to be anywhere near survival.
Yeah.
And the fact it went nearly down to the death shows serious team spirit and incredible management from Wayne Rooney. I saw him after the Paddy the Baddy fight, and I went over to him with my mate Ronan, and we were just like, Wayne, do it for football.
Yeah.
Keep them up. And he did so well until the end. That team talk with the fans when he made it back and they just got relegated, that made any football fan emotional.
I mean, we went over to Derby, didn't we, Theo, to show some solidarity. Great bunch of fans. So the fans were really fighting. This is a massive historical club, and I'm glad they survived as a club.
It's a team with largely no EFL experience, and the fact they got that close is something special with the punishments off the pitch. So Derby County, see you at Bolton next season, and best of luck.
Fulham now. You said they'd win the league. I said they'd win the league, and they won the league. 106 goals, that's a record. Mitrovic, Theo, the Serbian, 43 goals, 7 assists. Harry Wilson, 10 goals, 19 assists. And I've got a little question for you, right? We've not revised this. There were 5 players from this team in the team of the season. I've just named 2 of them. Who are the other 3?
Tim Ream.
Yes.
Adebayo.
Yes.
Fabio Carvalho.
Yes. Oh.
Fulham have had an incredible season. Marco Silva's been ruthless. You know the times they win like 6-2, 7-0.
Yes.
They don't hold back. Best of luck to Fulham. They've obviously made the upgrades on the stadium. They're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, Theo, they just have to spend well. In previous seasons, they get to the Premier League and they spend badly. So sort it out in the back room. Oh my goodness, we've got to talk about Huddersfield Town. 22nd, you said. Oh, they're going down, aren't they? I said 21st, just surviving. They were 3rd in the Championship. They nearly got to the Premier League. So a massive round of applause for that. Danny Ward, 14 goals. He used to play for Bolton 11 years ago. Lee Nichols, 19 clean sheets.
Before we
team
mention
of
the
season.
players, Dad, let's just give the whole team and Carlos Corberán, the manager, absolute credit, because on a very tight budget to go against the odds, the pundits, you and me, he brought a team that was, looping around relegation at the beginning to a playoff final. And actually, if you watch that playoff final, they were very unlucky with some of those decisions. It was only 1-0. It was a tight game. Thogdad, how did we bottle this by 17 places?
Well, I tell you what, once again, the bookies got it wrong.
The business he's done is absolutely incredible. Carlos Corberán has not had the money to spend. It's been loan signings and frees. Lee Nichols, best goalkeeper in the league, on a free. Tom Lees on a free, had a great year. Levi Colwill from Chelsea on loan. John Russell, Daniel Ward, free. I mean, Carlos, you've done wonders to bring that team to a playoff final and get touching distance from the Premier League. Backing Huddersfield next year to go up because that is special.
Hull City now 21st, 22nd, they were 19th, so we were quite close. And the problem here, Theo, they're quite good defensively, but they didn't score enough goals.
Well, after winning League One, there was a bit more hope. They did the most important thing, and that was survive. They got Alum out, which was the most important thing for the fans, so we credit you for that. They made 5 January new signings, and there was going to be a glimpse of hope that they'd kick on in the league. They never really got it going, but at least they stayed up.
Luton Town, you said 13th, I said 14th, and they were 6th. And I was hanging out with the Luton fans the other day at Peterborough. What a season they had. How excited they were because of that incredible season. Elijah Adebayo, what a season. The best of his career.
And in March, to beat Hull to be as high as 3rd place. I know. Nathan Jones had real momentum going at Luton Town. I thought they were going up. And if they did, considering they were non-league in 2014, being so close to the Premier League, it would have been the most unbelievable job ever. It would be football heritage. I know I say that a lot, but this is something special. Maybe if it wasn't for all the injuries, they could have beat Huddersfield in the playoffs. But to make the playoffs and to kick on for next year, have a good budget, I wish them the best of luck.
Brilliant season for the Hatters, but you've got to improve defensively. Middlesbrough, you said 7th, I said 4th. They were 7th. You got this one right. And David Wheater's had his heart broken again. Just missed out on the playoffs.
I got a lot of hate from Borough fans when I predicted that, but I got it just about spot on. Top 6 hopes were very close till the end of the season with Chris Wilder, and it was that loss right at the end. 4-1 defeat over Preston, who were mid-table. It didn't mean anything to them. Pressure was off, and that was what stopped them. They got so close for you to be correct where you put them in playoffs.
Yes.
Knocking United out the cup was something special. That's a memory for life. I'll never forget Sol Bamba's reaction when they won the penalties. He didn't want to run. He just put his hands in. He's too old for that. Marcus Tavernier is the one they need to hold on to for next season, getting a lot of interest from the newly promoted teams into the Premier League. So let's see if they keep him.
And now for Millwall, and just listen to this. 9th. They were 9th. We got one absolutely right. And I tell you what, Theo, 15 draws this season. This is a really tough team to beat.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out we went there this season and we did our scouting and we got it spot on. 9th. Simple as. Yeah. Unlucky to not make playoffs though, as per. I think Rowett, to get that close to playoffs, did a wonderful job. I've got to big up Cooper, for me, part of the team of the season in the Championship.
Nottingham Forest now 10th, 12th. They were 4th, and they've been promoted to the Premier League. And I'll tell you what, Theo, there's one player we've got to talk about. You do it.
Well, there's the whole team you've got to talk about.
That is true.
Samba, Johnson, Spence. Dad, come on. You can't.
But Johnson, I thought, was absolutely astonishing
is Johnson
this season.
the one you were going to mention?
Yes.
You got even Colback playing left wing back.
I know.
Out of position at what age? I don't even know. It's the whole team spirit and Steve Cooper that has allowed them to bounce back from bottom of the table under Chris Hughton. Bottom.
Yeah, I know.
You know, there were a lot of Championship fans from all over laughing at them, thinking they may even get relegated at one stage. And they ended winning the playoffs. This is one of the most incredible stories in football. The way Steve Cooper came in with an instant impact, his man management and his tactics made a real buzz around that football club. I went to watch them for one against Leicester, where they pumped them. They pumped a Premier League team. And it actually gives me hope that they will do well next season. And Joe Worrell, be the captain, a childhood Forest fan, to send them up. I mean, that's every kid's dream. So it's a wonderful story over in the Midlands.
It's a brilliant story. I remember the days of Brian Clough in the 70s when they won the old First Division, when they won what is now the Champions League. Forest used to be a big club, and the glory days are maybe back.
No team in the division took as many points as they did in 38 games that Steve Cooper led them in the Championship.
Peterborough, 23rd, 20th, they were 22nd and relegated. Well, we got this right,
what you just read out was, you thought survival, I thought relegation. Where did they end at?
Well, between us, we kind of thought in the 20s.
Oh, really?
All right, Theo, you got it right.
I did get it right. Thank you for reiterating.
Yeah.
And the reason I did is their team is mostly built on League One players.
Yes.
The likes of George Grant aren't able to cope in the Championship.
The one game I saw in the flesh for Peterborough, they were actually quite good against Luton. They were
also,
quite well drilled.
I swear last game of the season they won 4-0 or something. Like, when the pressure's off, they proved they could actually do it.
I tell you what, it's going to be tough for Bolton to beat them next season.
You reckon?
I think they'll be I think Bolton-Peterborough will be 2 good games. Preston North End of Lancashire, you said 16th, I said 13th. Yeah. They were 13th.
You got it spot on, Dan.
Absolutely
right.
spot on. I got 5 of these right, you know.
I'm going to be real. They've ended between 61 and 66 points, I think, 6 seasons in a row. A lot of sixes there. Gives you an understanding why you probably got this right. They are the mid-table specialists.
Theo, they are the draw specialists with 16 draws. Emil Rees-Jacobsen, Theo, the Danish lad, he got 16 goals. Quite a talent.
Whiteman and Johnson had another good year holding down that midfield and the wing. But for me personally, I've got to be real. Ryan Lowe needs to dig deep and find a way of bringing 11 points to the table to reach that playoff spot for next year and stop this mid-table issue.
Queen's Park Rangers at the start of the season, the fans were really hopeful. You said 6th, I said 6th. They were 11th, Theo, mid-table. What went wrong?
Everything went wrong. Well, it started so strong. What went wrong is Warburton left and everything fell apart.
Yeah, good manager.
Good manager. And 2-1 win over Blackpool on February the 23rd made them come as high as 3rd place. And considering we predicted 6th, it gave them even a little bit of leeway to allow them to make playoffs and kick on. And finally break that championship curse. And the boys blew it. They could only get 7 points from a possible 39, and in April, Warburton left.
But Theo, surely one of the problems at QPR is that they're losing really good players like Eberechi Eze.
Yeah, it's true. They've got the qualities. Chris Willock for one.
Yes.
Lyndon Dykes up top. It's shocking how they started so well and just blew it. And I have a QPR friend, and I really feel for him because they always just end mid-table.
Reading, you said 15th, I said 17th, they were 21st. Now they had a 6-point deduction, but it didn't actually make any difference. Paul Ince, the manager, Theo, ex-Man United, he can't be happy with that.
Well, he wasn't there for most of the season.
True.
It was the Serbian lad.
Yes.
We're not far from Serbia now, funnily enough. But I think overall, it's not a terrible season. I know everyone's going to jump the gun and say, yeah, they were rubbish. Okay, Michael Elise left at the start of the season compared to last year. Omar Richards as well to Bayern Munich. So that doesn't help them. They were regulars in the team. And then Lucas João was, their main striker, their talisman for finishing. He was sidelined in August for 5 months. Then in November, the Royals were hit with a 6-point deduction. So things were against them. The fact they still survived is pretty good.
Sheffield United, you said 3rd, I said 7th, they were actually 5th, so bang in the middle. Billy Sharp had a good season with 14 goals. Disgraceful what happened to him with that so-called fan at the end.
Yeah, well, first of all, I predicted playoffs. You said outside of it. Where did they end, Thogdad? Come on.
Theo, we were 2 places wrong.
I don't get it wrong with the Blades, especially when Heckingbottom turned up. And the way he turned around that season was something special. And it should give Blades fans so much hope for next year. 27 games, 15 wins, 7 draws, and only 5 defeats. And then the playoffs arrived, and they were, first of all, outplayed by Forest.
Yeah.
But the character they showed in the second leg to bring it back, extra time, then penalties, it's just a toss of a coin. And the fact the way they started as they did, Heckingbottom deserves all the respect.
Stoke City, you said 8th, I said 10th, they were 14th. This is another team with a great Premier League history, now just mediocre, Theo.
Yeah, but I think they just blew it in the end. 4 wins from the opening 6 games, they really started well. And then in the winter months, they fell apart. And it seems like an ongoing problem at Stoke City. They need to find a way out of this. It was Michael O'Neill's best start in the 17 years, and then they just did fall away. Maybe it's squad depth. I don't know what it is. Stoke fans, let us know, what do you need to make playoffs in the comments below.
Back to South Wales for Swansea City, 11th, they were 15th. And I tell you what, Theo, a disappointing end to the season.
Absolutely.
3 points in the last 5 games.
Well, Swansea 2 seasons in a row made the playoffs under Steve Cooper, and then he left realising that he couldn't get anything else out of them, and in came the Scotland international Martin. And it was unfortunate. It wasn't a great year, but they did show a glimpse of real quality, didn't they?
I tell you what, Joel Pirro, Theo, the young Dutch lad, 22 goals and 6 assists. So you got some talent there.
They also set a record for the most passes in a championship season.
Ooh.
I think it's something like 27,506. So they do like to keep the ball on the ground. They play the ball around. That's insane.
27,000 passes? No.
Best of luck for next season. I'm sure if they make a few more of those passes a through ball and someone gets on the end of it, score a few more goals. I don't even know. Joel Pirro did a great job with that anyway. Yeah. Best of luck next year.
West Bromwich Albion, you thought they'd be 2nd. I said 3rd, and they were 10th, Theo. That is a disappointing season, isn't it?
Very disappointing. Why did we give them so much hope? Please explain it to me.
Well, they've got Carlin Grant, who actually had a good season, to be fair, Theo, 18 goals and 6 assists. But I suppose when you come down from the Premier League, the expectation is you're going to be there or thereabouts.
Well, that's the thing. And they have a very good team. When Ismail came in from Barnsley, who did incredible things with them to get them to a playoffs, which was a very, average side, everyone believed that he was going to bring West Brom back up and it was going to be that positive story. But it just didn't go their way.
One takeaway from this video, there's some very good clubs in this league. A lot of them like Preston and Stoke. These are good teams, Theo.
Well, and they started all right. 22 taken from 10 games, but then only 27 points taken from the next 20. And that ain't good enough for the quality that they have. It was really unfortunate for those West Brom fans who had to put up with that.
And that is the other thing, Theo. 46 games, that is a very long season. You've got Carabao Cup, you've got FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's tough for those players.
Then on February the 2nd, they decided to sack Ismail. Don't know what you thought about that. Let us know, West Brom fans, in the comments, because Steve Bruce came in and his points per match ratio till the end of the year was worse. Next year it's going to be a real rocky road, but a man that gets 24 contributions in a season will definitely help them out. Right, that's it. I'm off. I'm done.
Theo. The points tally. We've added up all the points. Same system as last time. You scored 126. I scored 126.
What do you mean?
We were equally bad.
So how did you... So every time we're one off,
each time we were about 5 places wrong.
Thank you for watching. Get 12,500 likes like Thogdad wanted. And what will you do? More championship content?
We'll do that, absolutely.
I've got a sneeze. I'm off. Bye-bye.